Good morning and welcome to today's daily video. Devo, Rene here on the harbor, and I was just struck by an analogy I've used once or twice before in church. You see the sailboats behind me, and then you see the kayaks in front of me. Rowing versus sailing. Now there's a sermon illustration there related to our message this past Sunday. I talked about how 2 times in the first few verses of Ephesians chapter 2, Paul uses the phrase, "It is by grace you have been saved." And then he goes on to make sure you understand. He says, "This not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, so no one can boast." Earlier in the chapter, he said, all we had to offer God for our salvation was nothing. We were dead in our sins and trespasses. It was God who quickened us and made us alive. I told you before that when I finally discovered this truth for myself, I felt like I was born again, because I understood for the first time in my life that my salvation from start to finish is not based on my works. Not even whether or not I read the Bible enough, or pray enough, or go to church enough, or do enough good deeds. It's 100% by God's grace and mercy. And that brings me to my analogy. My Christian life, for much of my Christian life, kind of felt like somebody rowing a rowboat. Every time I put the oar in the water, it was, all right, I'm going to read the Bible. I'm going to do good deeds. I'm going to give to charity. I'm going to help my neighbor. I'm going to go to church. And each good deed was like another oar stroke in the water to try to propel me toward God's blessing or salvation or something. But eventually I understood that it's not about our good deeds at all. It's 100% by God's grace. Just as Paul says in Ephesians chapter 2. And that's when I went from rowing to sailing. And excuse me, I'm gonna have to row here for just a minute to get out of the way of an obstacle. But that's when I went from rowing to sailing. When you sail, you put up your sails so you can catch the breeze. And it's the breeze that propels you forward. Your sailboat really doesn't have any power. It's just got the sails. And it's the power of the wind that propels you. And that's what God's grace and mercy and love and power is to our spiritual life. We just put up the sails. We do read the Bible. We do attend church. We do meditate. We do good deeds. We serve one another in love. But those aren't strokes of the oar to propel us toward God's blessing. Those are all just putting up the sails to catch the breeze of God's grace that's all around us. Put up your sails today to catch the breeze of God's grace and mercy and love that's all around you. That's what Paul's trying to get across in Ephesians 2. That will change your spiritual life forever. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to rowing my way back to my dock on the paddleboard. God bless you. Have a great day.